Hey you guys, what's up? My name is Rye Reed the Writer. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the writer's strike that's happening currently. Forgive me, I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm not even going to cap. I'm sick. I am sick. My mom was sick. I had dinner with her a couple times last week. I was making fun of her because she got sick and I hadn't been sick since around Christmas time was the last time I was sick. So I've been healthy ever since. I've been working out, I've been drinking my teas, I've been doing the herbal stuff. I darn near I've gone vegan almost. I'm eating so clean, you know, but Wingstop comes in. I need meat too. You know what I mean? I got sick, so I'm drinking tea today, so no water. Well, there's water in tea, but I'm drinking tea today. Doing turmeric, we got some lemons, tons of ginger, so I'm feeling better. My voice is just, it's off. I can hear myself even now. I sound really weird. And you know what's funny, before I kind of get into the video, back in the day, like many years ago, when I had to go to work, like the next day if I were sick or whatever, I would just go to work. I would go to work with a fever, I would go to work with a runny nose, coughing, you name it, I would just go to work and I would just deal with it at my job. And my job was cool with it whenever I came in sick because, you know, I showed up for the day. Looking at that now, if I'm sick, I don't go to work. I'll take off a whole week of work just to make sure that I'm not sick and bringing that to like the work environment. Like my mindset has completely changed. Like shoot, I had like a stomach ache. It wasn't that bad 2 months ago. I told my manager, I was like, hey, I gotta go home. Like, I can't be here. I don't feel good. Shout out to pandemic. It changed our mindsets. But yeah, let's talk about this writer's strike. I live in California, so I'm noticing it a lot. I was out towards LA on Friday just because I had to go pick up some stuff. It was already taking over the streets and the downtown areas. People were protesting. A lot of news stations were already down there. A lot of other influencers were already reporting on it. So it's turning into a really big deal in California. And that's because the movie industry in a whole is primarily here. Granted, there's some buildup in Atlanta, Georgia. New York has a little something, but if you want to be a filmmaker, screenwriter, if you want to be an actor, an actress, model, whatever, your primary home is going to be California, Southern California. It's because everything is here. The weather is the best, so everything gets filmed here. You know, this is where it's at. There's a lot of commotion going on. And I'll be honest, I wasn't too aware of it until I saw it protesting. I heard about the writer's strike around the holidays. I figured that maybe with the studios, they would come to some type of negotiation. They would continue work. Little did I realize, because I was too young for the last strike in 2007, 2008. I was a little kid. I missed out on it. These corporations, they don't care. Their bottom line is their bottom line. Whatever they have to do to kind of cut corners and not pay people well, then that's just what it is. It's a little bit unfortunate. I wish that they could come to some type of conclusion with it, pay the writers a little bit more, figure out like a better contract, but you know, this is where we're at. So I want to jump straight into it. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, share. If you're interested in any of my books, they're available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And also, thank you to you guys for all the love and support. Remember, I got a few new subscribers, some comments. I appreciate that. Someone shared my video and told me about it. I really do like the fact that you guys are interacting with me now a little bit. We're still growing. We're in the baby stages. I feel like if I keep putting out content, y'all will keep coming back to me. All right, let's talk about this. So first things first, what is the WGA? Because I wasn't too familiar with the name title either. And I should know this as a writer, but I'm just not in the film industry. Not yet. But here we go. The WGA, what it means is the Writers Guild of America. Basically what they do, joint efforts of two different American labor unions representing writers in film, television, radio, and online media. So basically, this labor union represents all forms of riders. So you join the union, you get your rights protected. It's a safeguard for you. Pay, it helps out with all the other stuff. And the purpose is that the labor union's primary focus is to fight to protect your rights as a rider. So unions are very good for those certain things, especially for like contract work and film and industries. It's good to be part of a union that will serve and protect you. So why are these riders striking? I feel like that's like the biggest question that the rest of us are kind of having right now. Y'all bear with me, I'm sick. I need something to drink. Bear with me, I'm dying. They had a overall vote 97.85, which is basically just 98. I'm gonna give them an A. They got a high A. Percentage of riders who participated in the WGA voted to strike to ensure that working on a streaming service pays out in a manner closer to traditional TV and closer to the way previous generations of writers, directors, and actors fought for years to achieve. The last strike that happened in 2007, 2008, when I was a baby, I didn't know what was going on. But in that last strike, the reason it occurred was because during that era, we were hitting a phase in television called new media, which is basically from film moving to the internet. And writers during that time wanted to get paid for their services because it was being moved to the internet. How writers get paid, it's pretty simple. This is how your typical writer would get paid. Writer will create a movie or show, let's just say a show just to make it simple. That show will get pitched, picked up, and it'll be put on a network. So let's just say ABC, right? So the show gets picked up, it's signed for a season, and in that season it gets 24 episodes. That doesn't really happen anymore. We don't really see shows with 24 episodes. More so like 10 episodes nowadays. But back in the day, that's when shows were popping. So 28, 24 episodes, I mean. Throughout these episodes back in the day is there would be commercials. So you know how we watch TV now? We're not used to having commercials because everything's being streamed with Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, which Disney owns as well. We're just straight up watching the show. Back in the day, it was different. We would watch a show, and the show would go on for maybe like the first 10 minutes. You would watch the show, then you would get about 3 minutes. I promise y'all, it was so horrible back in the day. These commercials were garbage. You would watch your show, then a commercial would happen, and the commercials would go on for like 3-4 minutes. It was horrible, horrible. I hated the commercials. You would watch the show again, then after 7 minutes, you get another band of commercials. Then the show would end after like 15 minutes. So the show would go on for like a 30-minute slot on TV or an hour. All that commercial time, the network corporation would get paid from whoever was advertising. So let's say like Red Bull, Connell, Cheetos, Doritos. This is when advertising was at its highest and advertisers had to use the best form of advertising, which was television. So these corporations were getting boo-hoo paid money. And a good portion of that was going to your writers because they would just collect on that. But those were the old contracts. Like I said, we moved into the internet era where contracts didn't really like disclose that. So they striked to get that re-put into basically like their agreement that they also get a part of like that ad revenue, or the corporations had to figure out how to pay the writers. But now we're in the complete streaming era. No one really watches TV anymore. I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV maybe in 4 or 5 months. And the only times I actually do watch TV is when my mom is watching television. I'm not watching TV. Heck, I don't know any young people actually watching television. We just don't do that. Shoot, I primarily watch DDG, Omi and a Hellcat. I like the Stradman because I like cars and stuff, but I'm watching YouTube. That's it. Then I might hop on occasionally on Netflix just to see what's popping or not popping. Netflix has been kind of crazy lately. Yet with Stranger Things, I'm running out of things to do. HBO, give me my House of Dragons. Hurry up, please. I'm dying. This is what your writers are striking for. Last strike was between 2007, and 2008, which if you think about it now, it's almost about 20 years ago. It's a long time. The last strike lasted for about 100 days. And it was, like I said, it was for the same reason. They wanted that compensation for the internet, with the movies and film and everything being moved to that. Let's talk about that as well. That last strike lasted for 100 days. 100 days. I also did some research, and during that 100-day period, overall the industry lost $2.1 billion for not taking the time to pay your writers. I don't know, it's just crazy for me to think that they wouldn't just fork up the income, but at the same time, we're dealing with corporations. And a lot of people might not like this, but this is just the way business goes, especially nowadays. If your business or whatever it is, it's in a corporation, it's in the stock market, the bottom line isn't the workers. It will never be the workers. The bottom line always falls down to profit, because these corporations have stockholders that they have to be accountable to. If the margin line is not increasing every single quarter, then those stockholders who own like a large percentage of that corporation are going to have an issue with the corporation that they've put their money into. So for example, let's talk about Disney, because I like Disney. Disney's CEO currently is Bob Iger. Since he is the CEO, he's in charge of Disney, production, film, everything that's going on with Disney. That's his responsibility. Once he was put into that position over Bob Chapek, his bottom line was to figure out ways to slash any unnecessary spending and to raise the line. Disney was in a downward spiral. They needed money. They were losing way too much money. So he slashed a lot of things that were kind of just draining the swamp. That's what your stockholders are most concerned about. They want more money. They want money coming in. It's not really about the employee. Employees will get paid, but will it be something that they will live off of, be survivable? Not really, unless you fight for it. Always keep that in mind if you're working at a job or anything. You get paid what a corporation thinks you're worth. Never going to get paid something that's going to be livable, especially right now. It's just corporation, capitalism, greed, corruption. It's just the way it is right now. I'm sorry about that. So I found this video. We're going to watch it. It's only a few minutes long. You're not going to die. It just discusses what's happening currently with the writer's strike. And I'm going to talk between the video. So I'm going to slice it up a little bit, and we're going to have talks. All right. Let's watch this video. Pull out your popcorn, your candy. If you're like me, I just eat Takis and like spicy Fritos, because it's like, you know, I got to stay in the gym for those reasons. I like hot wings. I like chips. It's my problem. Play the video.
If you don't see me here next week, I will be heartbroken to miss you.
Thousands of television and film writers have gone on strike against major studios, bringing much of Hollywood's productions to a halt.
They're trying to end the writer's room. They're trying to force screenwriters to work for free. They're trying to force late-night writers to write for streaming to get paid a fraction of what people make in TV.
Like I said, that's like their biggest issue is the streaming problem. Since now these corporations have their own streaming services like Netflix, HBO, Discovery, you name it. I think CNN tried and it failed. Because it's like, I don't know why CNN tried to have a streaming. I have no clue. I would not have done that if I were them. Peacock, there's so many streaming services. Like I said before, back in the day, the shows were put on television, and television came with commercials. Streaming is straight streaming. The way that these corporations make their money through streaming is you having to pay a monthly service. That bill that you get from Netflix. That's how Netflix makes its money. How the writers are getting paid, I'm a little bit curious. Clearly from this video and the fact that 98% of them voted to strike is telling me that no one's getting paid. No one's happy with where they're at. And let's talk about that real quick before I jump into the video again. 98% voted to strike. That's crazy. That's too many people. If it were like, yeah, 52% of people decided to strike, let me know that maybe everyone's kind of getting paid different prices and it's okay for some and it's bad for others. The fact that majority said, nah, we're striking, we're tired, that's a huge issue. That tells me a lot about these corporations and how they're treating their workers. It's not really a good look, but damn, 98%.
We've had enough of it.
I came out to support the writers because as actors, we're only as good as the writing we get.
Late night shows were the first to be impacted by the strike. Their production shut down immediately.
I don't even watch late night shows. I just wanted to say that. I don't watch late night. I don't know who does. I know a little bit about Jimmy Fallon, just because I think he had Ariana Grande back in the day on, but I don't even know who's running the late shows, the late night shows, or who's up anymore at those times. At night, I'm on YouTube. I'm telling you guys, is anyone, tell me in the comment section, maybe I'm tripping. Is it me? Am I tripping? Do you guys watch late night shows? Someone please tell me that in the comment section. And who's even running the late night shows? I'm not even gonna do the research and look it up because it's just, I don't care. But who watches it? Like, who really watches the late night show? Because I'm sure they have that. Who's watching that?
Networks ran reruns in place of new episodes.
I support my writers, but we have a lot of staff and crew that will be affected by this, but they got to get a fair deal.
Our work is consumed internationally and profits are given to the studios.
I want to take a pause there. I'm glad that young lady mentioned that because I was kind of thinking that as well. The international aspect of streaming, how would that come into play, especially with the United States? If you have an answer for that, put that in the comment section. Maybe you can educate me on it. You guys know I'm a writer. My books get sold all across the world. Everywhere my books are sold, I make a different price. When I sell my book Walking on the Moon, it gets sold in America. I make, I think, $5.68 per book, which is pretty good. It's pretty doggone good. When the book sells in Canada, though, for that same book, I'm probably making $6.19, $6.20. If the book gets sold in Mexico, it's $4.96. So the prices keep changing up and down depending on where the book gets sold. It's just how, I work off my numbers. I'm actually kind of wondering, since the streaming services are provided internationally, they're paying that profit, how would that really work for the writers as well? If you can follow me, right? Shouldn't they get paid more? Say, for example, if their show is getting streamed in Japan, or let's say China, or the margin's different in Egypt, America, Canada, shouldn't it be more or less in some areas? So I'm not sure. That's a great hot topic with the international prices. I kind of wonder if that's even put in the WGA, if they've put a notion to that, hey, depending on the contract, if it's streamed here and there should be different checks coming in depending on the territory. I don't know.
Just want to be able to afford a home in Los Angeles, have a livable wage, be able to care for our families.
All right, this lady, she hinted. No, she cool. She talking about it. I did the work for you. I looked up the median price of a home in Los Angeles. Like I said, I live in California. I don't live in LA because LA is dirty. I don't care what anyone says. If you have not driven through LA, you don't understand. There's clean parts of LA. Beverly Hills is very nice, very clean. Pasadena is my joint. There's a couple breakfast places I go to with a couple friends. I like a couple good libraries. So there's good parts of LA, but like the downtown area, bro, there's homeless everywhere. You might get robbed or stabbed, or robbed and stabbed at the same time. I don't even see the jewelry. I'm not even rocking jewelry when I'm in LA. I'm like covering my neck. I don't go through LA. Medium home price in LA, I looked it up. As of March 2023, the median price for a home in LA was, catch this, $718,370. Yo, if you want to have a home in LA, say by the studios, you gotta have $1 million. You gotta have $1 million. You gotta have $1 million. You gotta be balling. Are these people even getting paid enough to live and work in the same area? That's my question. I'm like, if I gotta go work in LA, I gotta get paid LA money. You feel me? The bare minimum I will travel to go work in LA to survive that, plus with the gas and traffic, you gotta pay me at least, no cap, 47, 48 bare minimum. And even then, I think I might be poor still. Because I'm telling you guys, gas is expensive, food is expensive. Shoot, I went to Starbucks down there. It costs more to have Starbucks in LA than it does cost for me to have Starbucks in the Inland Empire. It's way cheaper here. It's expensive everywhere. But LA, I ain't paying no milli for no home. Like, if it's basic, heck no.
Meanwhile, the studios argue this is not the best time for a major change in how writers are paid, amid a drop in subscribers, a grim advertising market, and layoffs in the industry.
Today we're here because writers are asking for 2% of the $20 billion of wealth that's created every year.
Let's take a pause on this. I had to do some back research because this is what I'm here for. He said in the video that writers want 2% of the $20 billion that are generated in the industry. He's actually incorrect. I actually did my research. So as of 2020, the US film industry generated over $31 billion in revenue. Keyword here, over 31 billion. It's telling me it's astronomical at this point, because that was done in 2020. We're in 2023. That's 3 years. Plus inflation has gone up as well as the cost of living. So I'm guessing now the industry is probably making upwards of 100 billion every single year. So it's crazy that they're only asking for 2% of that $1 billion pot. $1 billion is a lot of money. Okay, I even want to say this to you guys. $10 million is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So the fact that these writers are only asking for 2% of that says a lot. We also got to take into like this factor that the industries are kind of suffering with advertisement, pay being down. People aren't paying for services like they were back in 2020. We are also in a recession, borderlining depression. I think if we continue on the path we're on, it will be depression very, very soon. People are struggling. So I'm sure these industries are suffering as well, but I don't know. It's tough going all the way around. You still got to pay people a decent wage. Maybe some fat needs to get cut in the writer's room, but I don't know. People still need to make a livable wage if you want them to continue producing at the level that they're producing. And these writers have made so many movies since the pandemic. If you really look at it, like back in the day, you might get one major big movie once a month, right? Or we would hit the summertime, there might be 4 or 5. The wintertime, around the holidays, you might get something big around Thanksgiving, 2 big movies during Christmas. But now I'm seeing so many movies getting pumped out, like every other week. Even look at now. Disney's roster is like pretty insane too. Like we just had Ant-Man, like in February. Then we have Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. Then that Pixar movie's coming out. I don't know the name of it. It looked kind of weird. Elementals? I don't know. That came out. Then The Little Mermaid's coming out. at the end of May. So their work time is crazy. You gotta pay people, I don't know.
From Hollywood. If you love movies, if you love TV shows, these are the people who make it.
What we don't know is how long this strike will last. It would need to go on much longer before viewers begin to see the effects on scripted TV shows and movies. In the past, screenwriters have walked out several times. In 2007, the strike lasted 100 days. Late shows stayed off the air for 2 months, and the Los Angeles economy took an estimated $2.1 billion hit. The longest strike, in 1988, dragged on for 153 days. They
mentioned in the video that the industry back in 2007, 2008, they lost $2.1 billion. That's a lot of bread. That's a lot of cheese. That's more money than I probably could spend in my lifetime. Don't challenge me on that though, because I probably could spend it, but don't challenge me. Currently, as of right now, I did some research as well. After 1 day of striking, the industry lost $10 billion. $10 billion have already been lost. I don't know if the industry can take it. Something's gonna have to give. It's either that the workers, the screenwriters are going to have to get paid a better wage, which is also going to hurt the corporations, or if the strike does continue and they're losing $10 billion per day, I doubt they'll even make it past 100 days the way it's going. And it's probably freaking out the corporations, knowing that if they continue on with this, their first quarter, because we're still in the first quarter, earnings is going to completely fall off a cliff. Because I'm sure there's a lot of movies still needing to be written. We still need writers on sets of movies. Late night show, it's on rerun status. Because like I said, who's watching late night shows? I'm sure someone does, but I don't watch it. Something's going to have to give. The writers got to get paid more. Or if we continue on this trajectory, the corporations are just going to be batting out. I don't know. It puts a lot of things in perspective for me, because one day down the line, I will start hiring people to start helping me with my books. Hopefully they'll turn into movies and I can continue down that route. As a business owner, I know when employees are comfortable. I got tea, I'm thirsty. I know that when employees are comfortable, they work better, their performance is better, life is better, they do better at home, they're less stressed out. Because that's what I'm thinking. When I want someone to work for me, I want them to work for me comfortably. I don't want them stressing about having groceries, or them worried about having a home, or renting and the rent's going up and they can't afford it. That would just tell me that the employee I have is not going to give me their very best. Because if you've never been poor or you've never struggled, you don't focus well. It's like my biggest hot take. You don't focus well. I remember that, struggling and not being able to do well in high school. I didn't do well my my freshman and sophomore years of school because financially I was just struggling. I was working too much. I couldn't afford my my lifestyle, and it wasn't like I was living, over my means. It was just I couldn't afford health insurance at some points, car insurance. I remember my tags being expired and going over. Super stressful. And I can only imagine that these writers are living in the most expensive place in the United States besides New York. And they have to come to work and they're worried about having a home. Like that young lady mentioned that was one of her biggest concerns. And to me, that just speaks volume. Yeah, so I feel like we have to pay people more. They have to just come back down to earth. Sure, we're running a business, but people, that's like the biggest thing. All right, I'm gonna keep doing more research on this as more information comes out. I'm gonna keep you guys updated on this because like I said, I'm a writer and I wanna know more about this. This is very interesting. But make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you're sick, get some tea like me, and stay home if you're sick. Just don't go to work. I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm just gonna suck it up. But yeah, if you wanna buy my books as well, link down below. Let me get a cough drop, I'm dying. Thank you. Woo.